Just logging in, you've already got that 360 view of everything you need to know. What was the last, workflow automations to kick in? What have we done for this client over the last 5-10 years? All that information in one centralized hub.
We're back with another episode of the Cold Start Project, the podcast about the unexpected challenges of scaling. And we're back with Derek Schmidt at Tech Mountain, pretty awesome tech incubator / co-working space here in sunny Wilmington, North Carolina. And I wanted Derek on again because last time we got to chat a little bit about, Swell System, the process documentation workflow / CRM app that you've created. And you've done some things in between. I mean, it was December 31st, 2018, last time we talked, last day of the year. Now it is the middle of May. And you've gone and applied for a big grant and had this experience of getting up on stage again, right? And pitching it, which is something that makes most people feel pretty uncomfortable. But I wanted to go back to something in our last episode. I started off by saying we were going to dig into the name for Swell, and I completely forgot about it because I got excited about what we were talking about. So where did the name for Swell System come from?
Sure. So we thought about the name for a long time, and we changed it probably 7 different times. We landed on Swell Enterprise because we really wanted to pull from the word swell mainly, which can mean, water. We're right here at the beach. I'm a big surfer. But also swell can mean expansion, it can mean growth. So we knew we wanted the word swell in there, but there were so many other companies named Swell, so we just threw an enterprise behind it. And then we started playing with the little motto of let us help your business swell and grow your enterprise.
Okay, very cool. So recently you appeared at the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at UNCW and talked a little bit about how people are using Swell in their business and that. So I was hoping we could cover that for a couple minutes. Tell us a little bit about what you talked about there.
Sure. So I went in, presented Swell, and mainly got into the automating part. I think, being the founder, it's so easy for me to get distracted on all the different features, and instead I need to be focusing on the benefits. So when I started thinking about the benefits, what better story to tell than the benefit that we received for why we even created it. So as I was growing Design Loud, and then once we built Swell allowed us to automate a lot of the stuff that essentially saved us, $40,000, $50,000 a year. And I'll explain how we did that. Because we were able to automate some of the repetitive tasks, it allowed me to not necessarily have to hire the most expert field, position. So by doing that, it allowed me to save a lot of money by essentially not having to hire that position at all. But then as we started getting new users in and finding out how they were using it, the more common themes that we heard were things like it allowed me to increase my productivity, save time because I didn't have to switch between different apps, save money. But as more and more people use it, we see the real value is not only having an integrated tool set with all these features in one place, but the ability to automate various things. So essentially, Swell can be customized around your workflow, whereas typically you get into a platform, you're very limited to what it can do. So you're customizing your workflow based around what that platform can do.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. So primarily, Swell is about workflow and workflow automation. It could be in marketing, right?
Exactly.
Could be your CRM, could be how you're doing what you're doing inside your business. So maybe give an example or two of how people are using Swell as customers.
Sure. So I use Kevin a lot with Alpha Roofs. After the hurricane hit, he is a roofing company, so he went from getting maybe 20 to 50 calls a day. I'm guesstimating that number to 300 calls a day. I remember sitting with him at dinner time, and he was literally ignoring all the phone calls that were coming through because it was just so much. So we started talking, and I said, you should try the software out that we use. What we did for Kevin was we created a form from our software, embedded it on his website. So anytime somebody filled that form out, it would automatically create a lead in Swell. And then he had workflows set up to automatically generate a proposal, fully everything but the pricing. So all he had to do is really run his eyes over the pricing, hit send. Once that got approved, it would generate the invoice, the contract, and all the further processes from his. So that's when we saw it and we're like, this could really be something big for other people, not just us.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, Derek. I have talked to many agency owners who are terrified of giving up the control of quoting.
Yes.
And they think they're going to screw up, or an automated system, or a junior person in their organization, if they get delegated that responsibility, they're just going to run amok.
Yeah.
And so how does Swell stop that from happening?
I was in that same boat, terrified to give away my stuff. So what we do is, me as the business owner, I went in, I created several templates. So if my team sells a custom website, there's essentially an invoice template, a proposal template, estimate. There's a template for any part of that. So they just go in, they select the template. If they need to modify the pricing, they can, but all the deliverables are there in the scope. They hit send, and then again, it just triggers the following workflows. So in that same logic, they are automating the onboarding emails to the clients through Swell, the proposals, the invoice, and then scheduling the actual project, all based around these templates that we customize based on what we need.
Okay. So as long as you get, garbage in, garbage out, right? Good quality in, good quality out. As long as you get the processes and the data in there the first time correctly, you're pretty safe.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you did say that the roofer runs his eyes over the quote just to make sure, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few line items, that's the way I would build it, that are key indicators, right? And I'd be looking for, I don't know, maybe a couple ratios or numbers and make sure, okay, are these in the tolerance of what I would expect? And if they're out, then I know to pull that one and give it a little more attention. But for the rest of them, man, they can just churn out. Okay, awesome. So tell us about this this grant that you went and did your kind of a rocket pitch for.
Yeah, so since the last time we spoke, we were CED featured tech presenter. And what that was we had 2 minutes to get on stage and pitch in front of several hundred investors and other entrepreneurs. Did that. That was definitely a challenge and nerve-wracking, but I'm a strong believer in pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. That allowed us to gain a little bit of traction. For the third time around, we applied for this grant. We made it out of 150 companies. We made it through 3 rounds and got narrowed down to within the top 10. So we did not end up getting the grant. They selected 6 companies, I think, out of 10. But it did open the door for me to have more connections in that area, investor space, other entrepreneurs, potential partners. I did learn a lot from that grant, and mainly from the feedback from the presentation, which, I believe I nailed better than any presentation I could have ever done.
Right. I saw a video of that actually.
Yeah, and so most of the feedback I got from that was, great presentation. This is, a very unique idea, and they could tell I'm passionate about it because I developed it out of a problem that I was having. So yeah, essentially, I think the reason why we didn't get the grant were, one, there were other great companies we were competing with. One here in Wilmington is a prosthetics company that makes prosthetics out of hemp fiber. In addition to that, they did not feel that the grant funds, which was $50,000, would really advance our company in a way that it could advance these other 6 companies.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of beyond that.
Which is totally fine. And I started that presentation with saying, being the underdog is a very comfortable position for me, and I thank them all for the opportunity. I'm very privileged to have made it so far. But me speaking, I want to hit those milestones that I was going to hit regardless, without that money, just to show we're going somewhere.
Right. Well, you've already been around for a while, so the concept has been proven.
Yeah.
So that part's very cool. And anybody who thinks it's easy to get up and talk about your business for just 2 minutes, think again, brother.
Yeah.
It ain't easy to limit yourself like that and be passionate and stay on message and also finish in the 2 minutes, and be on point with it. It's very easy to veer off or something, even if you practice the thing 50 times.
Yep.
It's not so easy. So again, great experience doing that. And this was for a big thing in the region.
Yes.
Right. It's not some little thing in Wilmington here.
No, there were about 800 different investors and, like I said, entrepreneurs. It was It was very challenging to stay on topic within 2 minutes, because 2 minutes is up, they're going to buzz it, you're done no matter where you are in your talk.
Exactly. When should people be looking at getting Swell? What kind of companies and what situations should they be in where it's time?
So, I mean, it was mainly created for an agency, but it's not at all specific to just agencies. We have bookkeepers, we have roofing companies, accountants, we have consultants. So, service-based B2B businesses is a good place, a good space for us. I would say implement it sooner than later, because for me, what made it so successful for helping grow Design Loud, my agency, was the fact that I implemented it right at the right time before my team really got big. So what I had was essentially a process manual and said, okay, well, as soon as this happens, do this here, and then the rest of the workflows will kick in. This is your next process. I would say our sweet spot is within a business that's within 5 to 10 years old, maybe 30 employees or less in that service-based industry.
Okay, makes sense. And so getting Swell helps you stay in control as an owner.
Yes.
Right? Things are happening in an automated way, but you set up those processes, so
Exactly.
Right? And what kind of reporting can folks get from Swell?
Essentially at any kind, because it's an integrated system where you can run reports against the clients, the CRM side, the invoicing, the accounting side. You can combine these into like a customized report, export them to Excel, and run different formulas. So you can get essentially any kind of reporting through the reports tool, but just logging in, you've already got that 360 view of everything you need to know. What was the last, workflow automations to kick in? What have we done for this client over the last 5-10 years? All that information in one centralized hub.
Okay. How could Swell be used to improve processes as they're happening, like identify common roadblocks, let's say, that keep happening?
Yeah, so we have our team that tracks time on essentially anything and everything, and when you view that track time against, what is my team spending the most time on, and specifically what are they spending the most time on that's not really generating more money for us, that allows me to identify some of the other areas that we're weaker. So we can go in and modify or automate, if we can, those processes.
Okay. Is there anyone you'd like to speak to directly, like a kind of customer that a potential customer who's in a situation that you've experienced where you're like, geez, man, just take the jump,
Yeah. Yeah. If you're that guy or girl who still has several Post-it notes, random napkins with notes, scattered papers, Swell, I would love to talk to you. I think Swell would be a good fit for you. If you're fed up with paying $700,000 a month on all these different applications, where when you have to update a client, you're doing it in 3 different places, I'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. And how can people do that?
You can reach us through our website, swellsystem.com. There's a little chat bubble that's going to pop up, probably with my face on it, and I'll initiate the chat. That goes directly to me and also goes to my team. I'm very approachable, so you can email me, dschmidt@swellsystem.com. And I won't give out my number, but I'm still approachable. If I like you enough, I'll give you the number.
All right. Well, awesome. Thanks, Derek. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
This has been Derek Schmidt from Swell System, and I'm Jason Canigan, the founder of Cold Star Technologies. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.